All right, we're live. Rohit, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks, Mackenzie.
Did you did you want to tell everyone what you do at the moment? What's your job?
Yeah, sure. So my name is Rohit, and I work full time as a software developer. And that's a new thing for me because just 1 year before this, I wasn't doing anything. I was just a graduate, struggling to land my first ever full time role, and it's a bit of a ride. So I went through different things. So that would I would like to talk today in this podcast. So yeah, at the moment I work as a full-time software developer, and on the side I just do my own things.
Awesome. And you came to Australia as an international student, right?
As an international student during the COVID time, so 1 year I did online from India, and then after that, early 2020, late 2021, I came here to Australia. Massive difference in culture, everything. Yeah.
Tell us about it. What was the first thing that you noticed?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I come from a family where, like, I come from a very, very small village, and my parents don't find it safe for me to go out and explore things on my own where I used to live. So that's the main reason why they sent me here to have a better life, to have some flexibility in my life, to grow from a boy to a man. So, so for me, Australia is my like I know more about Australia than I know about my actual home place in terms of like navigating here. So the biggest difference for me is the amount of flexibility I have here. And during the COVID time, I started my course. So I did 1 year online from India, and I was in that same phase of how we study in high school, just focusing mainly on grades and getting the things done. But university experience, to be honest, is very different. Like grades doesn't tell like what kind of job you will get or what will be your career. It's mainly about what skills you acquire, how many, like what connections you build, and like what things you do to like actually get where you want to go, right? So for 1 year I was still in that phase, like after year 12 I was still like focusing a lot on just making sure I'm getting HDs and everything. But when I came here after studying 1 year, it's just totally different. And especially, like on student visa you have 24 hours work restriction, but because of COVID we didn't have that. So we were allowed to work full time, any number of hours. So at that point I again made this mistake of not building my network, not getting to know the Australia and the job market itself, but rather focused again on my studies and then just doing the job, like how many hours I could do. So yeah, I remember I was at one point I was doing like three jobs because I was like allowed to legally do that, right? So I was doing that and was doing uni all the time. So after 1 year of studies in Australia, 2023 was my last year of studies. So at that point, I was looking for internships, and that's again a really like very bad experience for me for getting an internship during the university time. And last year, to be honest, just went fully in capstone project, internship, and things here and there. So again, I wasn't too focused on like making sure that I have a job when I graduate. So I personally, for myself, believe that after graduation, like in 2023 November, I was my last day of like uni. So after that, the 1 year that I spent. So after spending 1 year, like before like that actual 1 year happened, like 7 days before I got my first like contract job as a software engineer, that's actually for the first time I got paid for writing code for anyone, right? So yeah, I strongly believe for many students the third year is a year where they explore things and like try to make sure they get a job. For me it was like 1 year after the graduation was kind of that third year, especially because 1 year I studied online. So I feel like that's like totally like irrelevant with my career, at this point. So yeah, that's a bit of my story for uni. Yeah.
Awesome. And at what point did you realize that the job search was going to be like pretty hard?
Do you want to know the brutal answer? I, like I've seen students these days, especially because I work in my university as an academic tutor now. So I deal with a lot of students who are just starting in the uni, and I give them this advice a lot to like on how to like look for jobs from the very starting, not after you graduate, because I made these mistakes. And I come from a business background, like my family runs a business, and growing up I've always seen like everyone in my family doing business and no one actually goes to any job. So it wasn't naturally for me to like think of getting a job, but rather like doing something, right? So I was in that phase, and you'll be surprised to know that like till 2022, like second year, second trimester, last few weeks, I wasn't aware that we need to get an internship to complete this course. I wasn't aware about this thing. So I was in some class, someone told me that we have to do it, and you only have like like only few months to find an internship. So that's like, oh shit. So now I have to find internships. And to be honest, you'll be surprised to know that at that point, when I heard of a company named PwC, which now I totally respect, but at that point, I thought, nah, it's not a good company. So it could be something like small. But after that, when I first went to city, I saw like a big building of PwC. I was like, shit, man, I didn't apply here, just thinking that, oh, this is not like a good company or something. So yeah, I would say if I have to conclude, for me, like understanding the market, understanding the companies, and looking for like what companies are and what roles are, that was a bit of a like a new thing for me, which I didn't focus on. Like I've seen students nowadays like focusing on these things from the very early. So I like started very late. So for that, when I got to know about Deakin job board, like my university's own job board, I came across this listing. They had like a IT support role. So what I did was they had their number listed on it. So I just called them, right? Saying, hey, I'm looking for an internship. I just saw your advertisement. So would you like to have me as your intern? So that person just said yes, like they would do it. It was an unpaid internship. So they said, yes, we'll do it. I was like, oh, it's easy. It's not that hard. So jobs like this, that's good. So all you need to do is just check the number and call them and see and express your interest, and they'll give you the job. Because that's what happened, right? But I didn't realize at that point that I made a mistake doing that internship. I could have done like in my university, what we have is like an internship program. So for those students who are not able to secure an internship outside, so we have like our own like connections in the uni. So we do this thing called freelancing hub. So I could have done my internship there, still unpaid, but I would have like learned a lot more. But everyone's journey is unique. So yeah, I did that internship, and to be honest, like in very big loss. So I used to drive like 2 hours from my house from Geelong to city in my own car, and they promised me like they'll do the like the fuel and everything. But let's not talk about those things. But the good thing about that internship was I got some hands-on experience on how the actual like networking side of things work in the world of technology. Like I used to go with their person. They called that person our buddy. So I used to go with them. We used to do like wirings from pits to house garages, like how we have routers in our house. So I used to do that for the internship, but not exactly like what I was looking for, but some start, yeah, unpaid. But I got to learn a lot, like for jobs, for everything, dealing with people and how to apply for jobs. Yeah.
Awesome. So you got this internship, you got a support. So this is the support technician role. Is that right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So you got that, and then you're kind of finishing your degree.
Yeah. Yeah,
Tell us what happened next. Like, yeah, tell us this. This is quite a good story. I like this.
Yeah, so when I was doing that internship, at the same time I was doing a capstone project. So a really good thing about my university is that we have, like we have within our uni, we have small startups, like student-led startups. So we are working on some product or something which has like a real use case in the world. So luckily, the project that I, with my gut feeling, just picked as that project was a project called Project Eco, which later on we will find that we won like the national prize for that project. So I was working for in that startup company within Deakin, right, as a junior web developer starting out. I made a lot of mistakes there. Once remember, I just completely changed their tech stack. So whatever they were using, I thought like, oh, that's bullshit. Let me do something. So I just used my own things and build it. But I got to learn a lot, and I used that experience in my interviews all the time. So whenever people ask me, so that's a good story to share. So yeah, so as for experience, I gained 3 months of experience as a junior web developer in that company for Capstone Project A for first trimester. For second trimester, I joined same company, but now this time I took over like a leadership role and managing the cloud computing side of that project. So yeah, so towards the end, we had really good outcome of the project, and we got like national and state award for that project as well. So we have photos for that thing as well. So yeah, that experience helped a lot. But the interesting thing about this experience is I wasn't using this experience when applying for jobs, because I thought I just did a university thing, right? It's not really an experience. But this like whole notion of startup, that I tell the world that I was working in a startup, came to me when after graduation I was struggling for jobs, and I was reflecting back on my experiences. Uh, to be honest, mainly when I joined grad jobs, like in the first thing that we do is we like try to like self analyze like what our experiences are, especially like while building the resume, right? So I was looking for experience, what experience to have. So then I realized, oh shit, like I'm not telling the world that I worked in a startup for 3 months as a junior web developer. I was just saying I worked on a project in uni. So yeah, telling your story the right way, I think matters a lot. So while doing this self reflection, then I was able to tell the world that I have 3 months of web developer experience, which later on then I did like freelancing for 2, 3 months. Then I was able to say I have 6 months of web developer experience. Then I have 3 months of cloud computing experience. So in total, I used to tell the world that I have total like around 1 year of experience in the technology, like professional experience. So that way I got entry into at least getting into those conversations where people were actually asking me about those experiences. So before that, when I was telling I was doing a uni project, they just like straight away, like, okay, uni project, just okay, uni project, that's uni project. So you haven't worked actually. So yeah, it's important to frame your experience. I'm not saying lie, but at least like frame your things in a right manner, because it's too much competition. It's like not as easy as it looks like. So yeah, that's my experience while I was graduating. So what after graduating, what happened was I still remember it's like last month of my uni. I'm sorry if I'm stretching things too much. I'm just trying to go into detail. So I still remember it was like 4 weeks left for my like last day of the uni. Like because I've always been a student like who would get like 90s, 95 grades, like throughout my school life. So I was like, oh, it's not hard for me. It's hard for people who get like 60s, 70s. It's not hard for me. Someone's gonna give me job. I used to think that way. So someone's gonna look at my profile online and someone's gonna give me. So I was waiting for that thing. I wasn't actively like, like hunting for anything. So I was like, let's see who gives me the job. So I was in that phase. But this all changed when I graduated and when I started getting rejections and I used to apply for jobs. They say you don't have any experience or anything, or I wasn't actually applying for jobs in the right way, I would say. So I thought, like, now I have graduated. I don't want to sit free. I don't want to tell the world that I'm sitting free just looking for jobs. I want to work in my own field. So the good thing about technology, especially with software development side of things, is you can do freelancing. So what I did was I started doing freelancing, so building websites for small businesses. So I had one of my family friends. I once went to their house for some random thing. So I looked at their website. I told them, "Oh, I can improve it. I'm looking for experience. I will do it for free for you. I'm looking for like freelance experience, trying to build my freelance profile. I can do it for free." So they gave me that opportunity. So I did that for 2 3 months. Made a lot of mistakes, but got to learn a lot. Then after that, what happened was I wasn't getting actual like real paid client, but still I was able to tell to the world that I'm doing freelancing in web development, right? So that means like someone looking at me saying, "Oh, it's a graduate, still trying to like not sit free and gain some experience however possible." So then I joined my university as a academic tutor. That like, to be honest, very much changed my like trajectory of things. Because imagine me telling the world that I work at like a servo or like maybe Coles or something, right? The kind of questions that I get from people when I talk with them is very different when I tell them that I work in my uni as a academic tutor. So the kind of questions, to be honest, very different. Like they would like ask me a bunch of things like, how did you get this? How can I get this? What skills do you need? And how good do you need to be at certain subjects to be able to like work in university like that? So like my profile changed a lot. And during this phase, I have already at this point spent 1100 to like $1,300 on getting career coaching. So I took a career coaching from some company which promised me that they would give me like an internship if I they would help me with my resume, with my cover letter, and they have this whole network where they would help me get in as an unpaid intern. So I spent like first 11, $1,300, got my resume, everything sorted. I started getting interviews from their network, and I didn't do any interview because very soon I realized I was like, oh shit, I'm gonna work 9 to 5. I know that I'm gonna add a lot of value to the company where I'm gonna work. And in return, I am paying $2,000 to work in that company. And so how will I pay my bills? So that when I came to this question, I just left them, told them that I'm sorry, not interested. And then later on, I started another job ready program where they would teach us like how to become an IT sport and how to get a like IT sport engineer and level 1. So how you would get that kind of job. So I again in installments I paid around like $1,500. So I did like 5 weeks of the study, and the people I was studying with, they didn't have any programming experience. So very soon I realized, oh, so I'm studying with people who don't have programming experience and are not really passionate about technology as well. While it's me, I'm very passionate about technology. I would do it. Doesn't matter if someone's giving me money or not. I would do it anyway. I have programming experience. I'm good at different technologies. So what's the point of becoming an IT support engineer? Let's try to become a software engineer or cloud engineer or something in that, right? So again, I quit them and then started focusing on different things like software development, cloud computing, cybersecurity. And this is the point where I would get in touch with you guys. So this is a point where I found myself like really, really confused that what I'm actually trying to do. So one day I would like try to do a project in like web development. The other day I would try to do a project related to cloud computing. Someday I would like start learning more about cybersecurity. So that like just like it was a really challenging time for me because I wasn't getting anywhere, but I was making movements, just not getting anywhere. So yeah, that's where then I joined your community, and yeah, I would love to know what your views are so far. Sorry, man, took
Awesome.
too long. Yeah.
No, I think it's actually really good because a lot of people watching this, they're probably either in the same boat that you were in, or
Yeah.
they're like much earlier in their journey. So it's quite interesting to see how yours played out.
Yeah.
And I think within your story, you actually shared a lot of really big lessons.
Mhm.
Like, for example, how you sell different experiences and different projects in the right way, how volunteering and like freelancing can get you stuff on your resume.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of things you're saying are super valuable. So please, if you want to keep talking about the story, I'm here to listen, and I can ask questions.
Sure. I mean, like I have like not planned. I have like keep reflecting on these things, and I would tell you like how exactly I got that full-time job, and because of this mental exercise itself.
Let's
And
go.
you'll be surprised that I didn't prepare for that interview, like my final like full-time role interview. I just didn't prepare. I didn't care about that interview because of this exercise of being self-aware about so many things, right? uh, like just listing bullet points and just be able to walk through those, right, just naturally. So after when I joined you guys, so what happened was biggest takeaway from joining grad jobs I can tell anyone is, if someone's like me very confused and is good at different things but is also confused and is not able to like is making movements, it's just not getting in anywhere, is to focus. So once I started focusing on one thing, it was like really hard for me because I majored in cloud computing. I was interested in networking. I was good at like these things, and I was also interested in cybersecurity. And at the end of the day, I would like find myself writing code in the middle of the night or doing anything as a hobby, right? So I realized, okay, so what's that one thing that I would do it? Like, doesn't matter, like if I'm making money or not. To me, it's like, let's say, let me give you an example. So let's say I have an argument at my house with someone, or I'm like just naturally angry with someone. So for me, it's like me and my laptop. I would put on my headphone. I would just like start like writing code or doing something related to coding, right? So like, so I am naturally inclined to like sitting in front of my computer and writing code because I love programming. That's why I teach programming as well. That's why I volunteer programming as well. So once I realized this thing, I was like, okay, let's just try to get into the industry first in certain space. Then like changing the trajectory, it will be easier, like relatively easier, right? So what happened was once I decided that let's become a software engineer. So if you remember, like in the starting, like if I those assignments that I completed from you guys, if you like look back, I must have written like I want to become software engineer, and I studied software engineer people as well, what they have done and everything as well. So once I focused on that thing, I now the thing is for me the goal is clear what I'm trying to achieve, and the actions is the thing that I wanted to look at, right? So at this point I was looking for companies, and I was very interested in startups, working in startups. So I keep up with like a lot of like what's happening in the world of startups, right? So I came across this really interesting company which I applied for a role in, I think March or April, right? So I applied. That person invited me for like a this like online chat. So I was again like writing code, and middle of that code, I had a chat with that person, and he asked me this simple question: that what's the most challenging thing you have done so far, and walk me through it. And I don't know, for some reason, I started walking him through the code that I was writing and the like thing that I was fixing in that code. So he was like, "Okay, that's good." So we just went away. So just
Brilliant.
went away, never replied back to my anything. But that moment, like what happened, that moment was a big self-reflection for me. That was my first time ever like talking with someone in terms of job. Like that was my first ever, like I was like in a place where I was like talking to someone who could hire me, right? And I was struggling. And he rejected me by ghosting me. So I was like, what the hell, man? What did I do? Like no one ever did this to me. So I reflected like very hard on that thing, and I reflected to a point that I remember it was like around 2 a.m. After like month of this thing happened, I still have that message that I sent to that person, like a essay, like full essay, telling him like what my challenges are, that I don't come from like a big, like the place where I come from, like education is like a privilege, like my parents didn't go to like good university or anything, but like these are all my challenges that I have like uh, overcome, and this is what I would do, like what, like this is the answer for your question. So he didn't ask me, but I still like replied him in like a comment section, and after like few weeks, I think he replied back saying, this is absolutely like good answer, please keep in touch, if there is any opportunity we'll keep in touch, right? So what happened was, now this thing happened just like fade away. So once I focused on software engineer side of things, I again came across this job ad from the same company. Now this time I was again interested in applying for the same role which I was before rejected for. It was an unpaid internship, but I was ready to like quit my part-time jobs for it, right? So it was that important to me at that point. So but what happened was, I instead of applying online, instead of like sending them an email or anything, I just myself guaranteed that I will get this job. Like I myself guaranteed that I will have this job, and I was 400% sure, like 110% sure that I will have this job. And the way to do it was, I looked at their job description. It was like a software engineer intern, or maybe web development and something like that. So I carefully read the job description and located exactly why they need that software engineer for, and what thing that they wanted this engineer to work on. So what I did was after like doing some research, I located the exact thing that they wanted this engineer to build. I built like a prototype of that thing, like overnight. And in the morning, I remember like after 5, 6 hours, it's not that like technology is hard, like no one can do it. Everyone can do it. To be honest, it wasn't like too big of a job. Anyone can do it. Any good software engineer can do it. So what I did was I built a prototype. I deployed it. I shared the link with that person. I took some screenshots and I made a LinkedIn post, which now I deleted. I said, hey, and tagged that company and that founder, saying, hey, this is my informal application. And after like few minutes, he like commented. I have a screenshot of that. He commented, legend, let's chat in DM. So he again sent me like a link to his meeting thing. So I scheduled a meeting with him. So so now at this point, he was like I still remember I was going somewhere and I had just my laptop with me. I was like sitting outside Servo to attend this interview. I was like that confident that I have this job already. I was just confident. I wasn't like super like nervous about this thing. So the one question that he asked was, he was like, our team really liked what you did. We would like to give you an offer. That's no issue for that. It's just we would want to understand why. So then I explained him that I come from a background and I don't have too many friends in the same environment. I just want to be a part of environment where I'm actually contributing, applying my skills, and like being a part of a team. That's what I want to do. So that's more important for me for any money you give, right, in return. So it was an unpaid job. So I just got that offer like straight away like that, right? But the good learning is I didn't take the no as no, right? So that, and what else for this thing? Well, yeah, unfortunately, this startup just stopped operating after 2 months when I joined. Like after 2 months, they stopped operating because of some issue. It's not that startup wasn't good. They had like really good use case of artificial intelligence, good funding, everything was good. And yeah, so it's just they stopped operating, so I had to walk away.
I guess
Yeah.
that you've shared a lot of fantastic lessons. If people listen to this and they really soak it up, I think there's like 20 lessons so far. But I think one of them from that story is, instead of just telling people like I can do this coding in Next.js or whatever it is, you actually prove that you're good.
Yeah.
And the best way to prove you're good is to just give an example or evidence, right?
Yeah.
And you actually built it, did the like just the fact you did that already positioned you as the best candidate by like a factor of 10.
Yeah.
So it's genius.
Yeah. So that's what I said. Like I guaranteed myself, like instead of like applying for jobs, I just guaranteed myself a job in every way possible I knew. Because after like posting on LinkedIn, I again sent a message, I then again sent an email, then again sent my resume, shared my other projects and everything. So my tech stack was what they were using. So as I said, like, yeah, I already knew that. The good thing is I responded him back by answering that question, like what's the challenge that I overcome, and walk me through. Like I reflected and replied to him. So that's how I think in his subconscious mind, he remembered me that this is same person, right? So I think that's something interesting. So after that, what happened I got another job in Sydney. Before this full-time job, I got offered like a contract software engineer job. So the way I did that was, again, I think if you remember, I shared that I sent like 7 emails to like 7 different people, and I got 2 response, and I had like informal chats with them, and one of them offered me like a 3 months internship, just to see how I perform. And after that, if they have vacancy, they will give me like a full-time role. But unfortunately, because of some budget issues or something, they couldn't like hire me at that point. So that, I think, like the point that I want to come on is the fact that the way we apply jobs these days is, one, we are saying not apply, like apply online with a really good application, but also do networking, send emails, get in touch with people, go to networking events and all these things. I did that, but you'll be surprised to know that after sending those 7, I just stopped applying for jobs completely. I just completely stopped applying for jobs. I was like, I'm rushing too much. I'm just sending my like resume or everything like without even looking at the job description, like just looking at few keywords. I'm just like dumping my resume everywhere. That's not gonna work. I'm just sending emails to people. Maybe some will reply, then I'll have to nurture them and all these things, and then come to a point where they will talk. This is a really solid, actually, like a thing that anyone can do, whoever is struggling with jobs, like to send emails, to connect with people, to go to networking events. This really worked. Like referencing, like references thing, it is really I encourage people to do. But a unique thing that I did was I stopped applying for jobs, but rather started understanding the market itself, understanding the demand itself. Because I knew already that, like, I am a human. Let's cut down the human side of things. Let's think of me as a data point, right? And now there are like 1,000 data points which are a supply for that particular demand, right? So now the question is, I just have to find an opportunity where like I am a supply, where I fill the demand. Like I just beat the competition and just I know that I fill the demand, and I can guarantee again myself a job without like even like thinking of a rejection. So what I did was, in software engineering, you can focus on a lot of things. You can become a mobile developer. You can become a like iOS developer, Android developer, or like native developer, web developer. So many different things. Everything changes like every day. So it's so hard to focus. So I was like, I still have to focus, even though I have focused on software engineering. Still have to like focus on one thing. I can't be like a mobile engineer and web engineer at the same time, at least for now. So what I did was, I was like, okay, I'm a web developer, so focus on people who are hiring for web developer. Focus on type of companies that hire for web developers, right? One is the big tech company. I wasn't focusing on them. I wasn't at all interested in working at a big tech company, because just mainly because I realized that for me to get in touch with the right decision maker, it's going to be so many steps that I will reach that person. Maybe I can directly reach that, but he can't again decide on its own, because like in big company, there's so many processes and everything, right? For to hire someone. So I was like, that's gonna take too long. Let's not go for like big companies for now. Medium scale companies, I think the good way to do was emails. So I was like, let's not focus there. Let's focus on startups, right? Because startups are like small team sizes, and it's very easy to identify who that person is, the right person to talk to. Or let's say if there are like 100 people, to like find two people, it's hard. But if there are only 15 people, you can always like ask everyone, right? Just ask everyone. So they all will be chatting within themselves that, oh, this person from outside is trying to get in touch with us, right? So I was like, let's focus on startups. So I already had experience in startup, and now I had like good self-reflection on what my skills are, right? What supply do I bring? Like what I bring to the table. I had like natural knowledge about myself that I bring to the table. Now all I needed to do was look at companies, what they're looking for. So once I narrowed down my scope and focused on startups, I started reading job descriptions. Doesn't matter, it's a junior role, senior role, whatever role. I just started looking at job descriptions. What I did was I made a list of like 10 to 15 skills that they need, like both soft and like technical skills. And then I classified those skills into like must have skills, required skills, and nice to have. Nice to haves are the ones that are like specific to like company to company, right? Required are what they are hiring for. Must have is like common in everything, that they need this. You can't just go away without having these, right? So once I had clear understanding of this, I had a good list of things that I had and which I didn't have. So what I did was I started focusing on building my profile around those skills and building a portfolio that I can share with people and say, I am the person you are looking for, right? So now that I have good understanding of what startups look for, like what specific stack they look for, what type of people they look for, and to be honest, I think of myself as naturally like a startup kind of person. Like I think of myself as a very ambitious, passionate person who is really interested in technology and who would do things independently. So that was a common theme in like startup job descriptions. Even like I can share right now like one job description which, like, to be honest, like directly says if you are looking for like a 9 to 5 job, please don't apply here. We are a small family. We like to work in this certain way. So that's uh, the person that we are looking for. So I realized, okay, so the kind of things that I have to think, the kind of content I have to consume, the kind of things I have to chase to be naturally become that person, that when a starter person talks with me, that they know, oh, this is the right fit for the thing, because he thinks in the way we think, right? So once I had that, I started looking for job, like companies, right, where I can fill the role, whatever the open role is. So I still remember it's like around 2 a.m. Friday, like 2 a.m. Friday. I came across this company where I would work then, and I looked at their website, and they were working with like really, really good clients, like really modern companies, like AI companies and all these things, like good investment backed companies, right? So I was like, okay, I think this is a really good company. Let's look at their jobs if they have any open. So there was an open role, and it was exactly what I made that list of. It was exactly that what I made list of, like what technologies that I made list of, what the kind of persona they were looking for. So I was like, okay, I know that there is a demand in this company. I fill the supply. I have made sure that I can tell them that if let's say I'm in an interview, I can take them, like I can show them examples of my work using that same technology, right? So once it was clear to me, I didn't apply online. I started reaching out to people in that company on LinkedIn. I sent them everyone a message. So one piece of advice that I would give any like person hunting for jobs is to buy LinkedIn Premium, because then you can send like note when you are connecting with someone, so you don't have to wait for others to accept the connection, and then you could chat with them, right? So you can just send a note straight away and apply, like connecting with anyone. So I just sent a simple note straightforward that I'm looking for a job. I think I fill the all the requirements. So hey, see if you can help me out. So so I was like really lucky, and I think timing plays a really good role here, because as I said, like there are two kind of people, like someone like me and someone who says like I've applied 1,000 jobs and I didn't get anywhere. So I am saying I applied 10 jobs, I got like into 2 3 companies, right? So here the factor is, let's say you are applying for 1,000 jobs, and let's say 2 people reply, right? That's how much, like 0.02% success rate. Now you cut down, I think 0.02, I think if the math is right. So if you cut down, is it right?
I think it's 0.2, but
0.
2 out of 1,000.
2 out of 1,000, I'm saying.
Yeah, 0.2.
Yeah, whatever it is. But yeah, zero in like zeros, right? So what's 2 of 100?
Yeah, 0.2
2 of 100?
Sorry,
0.
2% is out of 100. Then out of 1,000, 0.2%.
Yeah. So then what's 10 of a 2? That's what's 10 of a 2. 20%. Is it 20%? Yeah,
2
maybe
out of
10.
10, 20%. Yeah.
20%. So see how you can like increase your like success rate from 0.2 to 20%, just if you do this exercise of understanding the demand and making sure that you fill the demand with whatever you have, and then just sending a quality application and then doing the networking with the right people. So I think you can increase your chances and you can save a lot of time if you do this kind of exercise. I'm not sure if I'm correct, but that worked for me. That's what I'm sharing.
100%.
Yeah, so timing plays really good role here, because I sent like message to everyone, and the person who replies is the person from my uni only. So they all had only like one person from my uni, rest everyone was from like Swinburne or some other uni. And this person was working as an intern in that company, and it's 2 a.m. and he is the only person he replied. And lucky enough, I was going to uni the next day because of some event, because of my tutor job. I was going to that event, and he was coming to uni because of something. So I was like, okay, man, let's meet in the morning and let's chat about like what you guys do and see if I'm the right fit and see if you can help me, right? So I still remember I was like in the train while going to the uni, and he replies me saying, "Sorry, bro, I can't help you because we only hire through referrals." So I worked in that company. I don't know if it's right thing to share or not, but like generally, like they hire through referrals, like close, because the way they think is smart people know smart people. So whatever people they have, they must know some people, so they would invite those people to work with them and give them trials and all these things. So I was like, sorry dude, I don't know you who you are, right? So I can't really help you. And my CEO says like, sorry, we can't help you and anything, right? But I still remember I came back home. I was like, okay, that's fine. Still tell me like what you guys do and let me like do some my thing, like what I can do. So he told me like how they operate, what they do, what kind of projects they work on, like what's the process, right? So how they hire and everything. So I was like, okay, so through you I can't get hired, but what I can do, like this is a game lost, right? So if I have to win, I can't just walk away. At least I have to do something. So what I did was I then uh, put together everything in my resume. I wrote an email saying hi human, like I don't know for what, like I just throw that email to them. And then I sent a message to the CEO of the company saying, I really want to work with you guys. You guys doing amazing job. So then he would schedule a call with me, like a 15-minute call would go for like 35 to 40 minutes. So then he would give me like a trial project to build for 2 weeks. I would do it in like 1.5 week. He is impressed. He would invite me for Sydney offsite. They have like offsite in Sydney every few months. So he would invite me there. I would work there for like a week, and he's impressed. He offered me like a contract job. So yeah, I before like 1 year of graduation, like it was about I think 26th of October, and I graduated in November at November 3, 2023. So like around like 1 year of graduation, I first time got like a offer from someone saying, yeah, we will pay you for your work. So yeah, that's the story about that startup. So yeah, now I work full time. That's a different story that I would like to talk. But before that, if you have any questions or if there's anything you want to say, okay?
No, I think that's such a good story. You're explaining it so well. And if people listen to this carefully, there's so much to learn from this. This is amazing. One of the biggest things, and one of the things I'm a massive fan of, is we called it, I don't know if you saw this at Grad Jobs, but we called it the never give up strategy. You might have seen it somewhere. Basically, what you did, it's like, even if you get turned down,
Yeah.
like if you love the company and you know you're an amazing fit and you want to be there, don't just give up. At least like, because if you really want something, who just gives up straight away, right?
What I've seen is when you're genuinely interested in something and you're not expecting anything, that, oh, give me job, I have these skills, give me job, you are looking to hire, give me job. When you're not doing this and just genuinely trying to understand what they do, and just like casually just like looking for what they do, what the world is doing, then I think people are like interested in talking with you. So my intention for talking with this company was not to say, hey, I'm looking for a job, hire me. It was more about like understanding what kind of clients they work with, because they work with like really, really top notch clients. I still miss working at that company and I have good connections with that company. It's a really good company. Would recommend anyone to apply to that company. It's a really good experience, but it's a startup. So working in startup is not everyone's thing, because it's sometimes like you would work like middle of the night as well. I once remember I was working from McDonald's like around like 2-3 a.m. doing something. So yeah, it's a different persona than like you would normally go for 9 to 5 jobs. So that's what I said. Like when I focused on like I want to get a job in startup, so I had to consume content. I had to like be that person naturally. I just have to like get into the shoes of that kind of person. And lucky enough, I was already that kind of person, so it wasn't too hard for me to like become that person. It's just like the way I would discuss about my experiences, the way I would talk about, the way I think about the world. It's gonna be like the way startups think about the things work. So now I work full time in a corporate role. It's very different world. It's completely different, like a poles apart. Yeah.
Yeah, I think again, these lessons are incredible because most people who come and work with us at Grad Jobs, who join the program, they're actually making the mistake of going for the wrong companies, going for the wrong jobs. And you mentioned you spent a huge amount of time just understanding the market. What does the market need? who are you? What can you bring? What are you uniquely positioned to deliver for the market? Where can you add value? And I think as soon as that clicks for people, everything makes sense. And they start thinking, okay, why am I applying to thousands of jobs, quick apply? I don't even want any of what jobs do I actually want? Where can I actually go? And you just reach out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, and it worked for you. So it worked for me as well.
And this like simple maths is very powerful to me. Like 1,000 to success messages is like 0.2, then 100 it's 2, then with 10 quality where you know what's gonna happen, what's the outcome probably gonna be like on your end, you are like in putting yourself in like 20 to 30% success rate. So I would anytime would want to be in a 20 to 30% success rate compared to like, I mean, like 0.2% success rate, right? So yeah, I think like imagine like I need a job in some space. Let's say I'm very interested in cybersecurity these days. In fact, I'm working on my own project, which maybe will become a business. I'm not sure. So that's also in cybersecurity space. So now for me, the question was, I want to learn cybersecurity. I want to do business, but how can I do it together? So why not do a project, maybe land a job in that thing, maybe like sometime in the future, right? And like it's a totally win-win situation because I'm learning about the thing, I'm building project again, I'm building my portfolio. It's like you just have to put yourself in like a win-win situation. And unfortunately what I've realized, like what I've understood about especially like technology field so far, it's a field of passionate people. Because imagine you are applying for a job thinking that you will get a job and you will get money, like you'll get a salary, good salary, high salary, and then you can't come home and then study after work, and you can't like spend your night maybe building something. You can't spend your time talking about what you're doing to the world, and you can't just naturally adapt yourself to the changing landscape. It's going to be very tough for anyone to just get started with this field, let alone so passion plays like a big role in my opinion in this field of technology. Yeah, I think now we can talk about how I got the full-time role. That's an
Yeah.
interesting story. That's
Let's
like
go.
really
How did you get the full-time software developer role?
okay. So I was working at this startup. I finally got into like a good client, right? So I was doing a trial for like a really, really good US based client, like really, really top-notch client to be honest. So I was working with them. So the trial was going really good. So I was not actively looking for a role because I knew that if the trial succeeds, I'm gonna get a full-time job in this startup anyways, right? Because I've seen other people's getting a full-time job when they clear a trial. Because it's a startup, I had a good relation with them, so I would wanted to work with them. But the only thing that led me to even open the LinkedIn jobs page was the fact that when I started thinking more about like my permanent residency things, about like all these other things that are also important, right? So I was like, let's casually apply, not actively, do the research. So I would like every now and then I would like open LinkedIn and see what's happening, right? So I wasn't actively again applying for the job because I knew that I'm gonna get a full-time role anyway, right? So what happened was I came across this role, which I have fulfilled now. So I came across this role on LinkedIn, and not lucky, I mean, like 5 months before that point, I reached out to someone in that company because at that point also I saw like similar role and I was trying to get that role through references and everything, right? So I was looking for a reference, and at that point I was too frustrated. My LinkedIn profile was some like random wallpaper. So he saw that thing and he was like, I can't refer you at this point, but I can give you some advice to maybe like have a professional, like, like profile picture or anything, or have your resume like good and everything, like posted on your LinkedIn, everything. So I was like, oh, I used to have like a good one. It's just I'm frustrated at this point. That's why I don't have like a good LinkedIn at this point. Because sometimes when I'm frustrated, I don't know, for some reason, I just like started deleting everything from my social media and everything. So I don't know. Like at the moment, I have like deactivated my Instagram account. For some reason, I'm just too frustrated to like looking at my mobile all the time. So I just like start deleting it. But LinkedIn, I can't do it anymore because LinkedIn is very important to me at this point. So this person, I had already had a chat with this person who would then refer me to this company, right? So I again went to this person, sent him a DM saying, "Hey, I just saw this job. I'm looking for like a job. See if you can help me. There's my resume and everything." It's like, "Yeah, sure. We are looking like now I work that now I know that they were genuinely looking for like that person, the role that I have fulfilled, and the other four people have fulfilled. So they had five developers. So this person then would ask me for my resume, and he would say, let me talk with the recruiter in the morning. I'll send them your resume and see what they say." Because the thing is, if I apply online, my application would go to UK first, and then if everything's good, then it will come to Geelong office, like Australian office, right? So he was like, "Don't apply online. Let me just directly pass your resume to them." And thankfully, that person like really, like thankful that that person was really kind. So he then got back to me saying, "You just apply online and put my name, so they will be able to see your application under my referrals and everything." So that happened. So I got an email saying they have invited me for like an online chat. And I remember I was like, "Okay, that's fine. If we get it, that's fine. Let's focus on like getting a full-time job in this startup," right? So I remember I was like full on like working for that startup, right, at that point. So I got an online interview, and I didn't even read the email like who will be there. I thought like it will be like one person. I just opened Google Meet. It was like four people sitting there. I was like, like I didn't saw that coming, right? So it's four people talking with me. I was like, okay, that's fine. This is a dead end for me. I'm gonna like not get it anyway. So what's the point of uh like doing things the way I would do when I know that I'm gonna get things right. So it's just, but I still tried my very best to answer their questions. So in that interview, let me talk a bit about that interview. What happened? So in that interview, the whole intention of them was to understand who I am, what my experiences are, and yeah, how do I contribute what I work right now. So because my file already have some experiences, which I think that helped. Like I worked in startup, like two startups, worked in university startups. Let's count it three startups. Then I did freelancing. Then I built projects here and there. I used to post on LinkedIn and everything. I had a really good portfolio. Everything was like solid. So I think my profile was really solid. That's why they decided let's call this person for an on-site interview as well. So after that, like call, like 30-minute call, I again got back to like what code I was writing for that startup. I was like, okay, let's move on. Then now they're gonna just say like rejected, right, and everything. But lucky enough, I know it's like 1:30 a.m. in the morning after I finished work. So I was just looking at my email. I just got an email saying, "Oh, you have an on-site interview." I was like, "Oh, damn, was my answers like really good? So why did they invite me?" So I'm like, okay, let's see. Again, I wasn't, to be honest, this story is really interesting because I didn't practice anything for interview. As I said, I have now started believing that self-reflection and just when you are alone, just talking about your experience and just revising your journey again and again helps a lot in naturally telling about those experiences to the world. And then you don't have any hiccups telling about your experiences. Because for me, if I'm lying, it's like, trust me, it's very easy to tell that I'm lying about something. So I try to stay as honest as possible with my everything. So like I did this exercise again and again of like reviving my experiences. So now I remember I had to go for this offsite interview, and I was at this house. This is my brother's house. I live in Melbourne with him sometimes, but mostly I live in Geelong. So I was here. So I had to drive for like 1.5 hours to that place for the offsite like onsite interview. So I still remember, like when I started driving, I opened ChatGPT. I like copied the job description, like whatever I saw. I didn't even like look at what like exact technologies that they were looking for. Right, I just copied the job description and just put it on ChatGPT. And you know that on the phone that they have this calling feature, you can like talk with AI, right? So for the 1.5 hour, all I was doing was telling them, like I was like talking with ChatGPT, like this thing. Oh, I unexpectedly got this interview. I just have like only 30 to 40 minutes to prepare. How would I would talk about different scenarios. Let's say what happens if they talk about my salary, because ChatGPT is too good at knowing what you are already doing. For example, it already knew that I work in a startup and everything. So it gave me like a really good bullet point of what I can talk about, right, in my interview. So I started collecting those bullet points. So I would like discuss different scenarios. Let's say, for example, when talking about what's my experience related to chat technology, how I can explain that experience to them. So ChatGPT would then give me, oh, you had this experience at that point, so you can talk about that thing. I'm like, okay, that's good. So I think I have found my sweet spot. You can say that I'm really good at revising things on my own when I'm driving. So that long drive and a talk with AI with for the job for my with my experiences just help me gather all the bullet points that I would discuss in my job interview if they ask. So so the interview goes something like they are trying to understand, like it's mainly behavioral questions and few technical questions, but again not too specific, not related to any specific technology, but to just generally understand the way I think about things. So again, I think timing and everything played a really good role here for this thing as well. That this was my like first ever of like on-site like actual job interview. For the emails that I sent before, I had a casual chat with them. It wasn't like they were looking for someone. It's just I walked in and everything, like had a chat. It's just they were not looking for. So this is the first time ever in my life that I was going for like an on-site interview for a software developer role. So you won't believe that it went so natural that whatever they were asking me, I was just naturally able to answer. And they scheduled the interview for like 20-25 minutes only, and it went up to 50 minutes. And I remember asking them, oh, I'm sorry if I'm like talking too much about things. It's just I'm trying to explain things better, again what I'm doing here. So they were like, that's fine, whatever you're saying, we want to listen what you're saying, it's good whatever you're saying. So it again stretched to like 50 minutes to 1 hour, that 25 minutes talk. So after that interview, for the first time ever, when I walked out, I was like, I know they're gonna give me the job. I just had this gut feeling that they will give me this job. So, but I again stopped expecting anything. I just walked away, went home, had my coffee, just started working on that for that startup again. Right? I wasn't expecting to gain anything, but after just 1 week, they got back to me saying we have selected you for that thing. Again, they didn't. I think at that point I reached out to you, saying this is what they have told me. I'm not sure if they're giving an offer or like what they're saying. So you said wait for the offer. So I waited for the offer. I wasn't like too happy until that point when I actually saw the job offer. So that's where I said, "Oh yeah, finally I got this song, got this thing." But I was lucky enough that my mom was here at that point. So my mom made a visit to Australia at that point when I get my first full-time job. So I was able to like hug her, like express my
Wow.
feelings. Yeah. So it was a really good point, a good moment for me. And I think again, timing and everything plays a really good role. For me, I strongly believe in when you just like focus on doing things and trying, like genuinely trying and not expecting anything, you will eventually like go there. The timing and everything, the matrix want you to go, I think.
Such a good story.
Yeah, thank you.
So good. So if there's a software engineering or IT student or graduate watching this and they're thinking, wow, this guy, he crushed it. I'm right at the beginning. Like I don't have any experience. I don't know what to do. I just have my degree. What would be your, like, if you could give them like 3 or 4 steps,
Yeah,
what do they do?
I would say first of all, start by finding the like big why of why do you want to become a software engineer. For me, that was like growing up, my parents don't know how to use like mobile phone or anything. They like don't know how to like turn on Wi-Fi or like something with like their phone is silent or something. So for me, I've always been like this go-to IT person of the family. And when in my year 12, I graduated with 95 marks in computer science. I was very interested in programming and just the general idea of just taking the idea and being able to build a solution for that thing. So that thing was like very natural for me. And when I think I talked about this thing as well, that in this whole chaos, I was finding myself sitting in front of computer writing code all the time. So I was doing it as a hobby. I didn't realize it. So just find a big why you want to do this thing and just attach yourself naturally to that thing. So once you know that, like once you have self reflected on yourself, why do you want to do this thing? So then you be just aware that you don't know things. Just be aware that you don't know anything, and you are here to learn, and you want to know things, right? And the way you do it, by talking with people, by doing the market research, by trying to look at job descriptions, trying to like find, like must have, required, and nice to have skills, and making a list of those skills, those things, and focusing on a type of company that you want to work with. Because imagine you are standing here, and now this startup is a different world, corporate is a different world. You can't position yourself in both spaces at same time, right? You can do it in some way. You can say I'm interested in software development, right? But to go into startup, it's a really different approach. To get into corporate, it's a different approach, right? And the tech stack normally, like startups use, is different, big companies use is different, right? So just try to find what is your thing, like where you want to get started with. For me, I would say, if any person in this day and age trying to become a software engineer, the best thing they can do is try to build their own startup, try to build their own, like not a project like which they can talk about, just like try to build a real world startup, try to solve some real world thing using their knowledge, their skills, right? I've seen so many students these days in their first year, second year, trying to go to hackathons, like trying to build something and then just make a portfolio of the thing. And you just have to be dangerous enough to be able to tell the right person that you know this thing and you are willing to like learn more about that thing. So yeah, all in all, what I'm trying to say is just like position yourself in a certain thing. Don't like confuse yourself that one day I want to do this, one day I want to do this. Just focus on like one or two things and try to just focus on that. Because once you start like in the field, you don't have a job or any experience before. Your any experience is a good experience in my opinion. Doesn't matter if it's paid or unpaid. Any experience is good experience if you're trying to get into this world of software engineering. So try to build your own things, try to talk about those things, try to do social media posts about those things. Then once you have done good market research, try to like get in touch with the right people. And yeah, I think people are someone who can give you a job. Like online applying, it's one approach. If you're applying online, make sure your application is really top notch, everything's good, you have no mistakes or anything in your resume, right? So get it verified. For example, join a community like yours where you can get your stuff verified and get some hand, with things. So yeah, I think just do focus on thing and do the right thing, and don't confuse yourself with too many different things. Get in touch with the right things and be a part of something. I think that's what will help anyone in this day and age. And applying for startups is a really good jackpot for anyone these days, because if you are looking in long term, let's say looking for to work in a bigger company, they really respect people who have gone through the startup phase. Like they have worked in a startup environment, so they already know that when they come here, they're gonna be like working less than what they used to work in startup. So they already know some qualities from those people. So yeah, so that's one few things that I would like to tell to anyone who is trying to become a software engineer.
Amazing. So good. I think we could probably talk for hours longer, but I won't keep you. I
Yeah.
guess I got one more question, which is just, what do you think if you could pick one thing, what was the best thing about grad jobs? Like what was the most useful thing?
I think for me specifically, I can't tell about others, but for me specifically, it was the first video that I saw from your thing, right, was just to like narrow down the scope of like try to see what kind of life you want to live, and just like the thing that I said earlier, right, like try to find the why and try to understand yourself, what you want to become, and try to become that, just following the actions, right? For me it was like narrowing down the scope. So before grad jobs I was like too much everywhere, like confused in so many different things, I'm sorry. So after watching that thing, I changed everything and just focused on one thing, and just one thing, and I got three opportunities in that phase, right? So which is I think really good, and I didn't apply for too many things. So that's a really good thing, because I don't want to be in that position where I'm telling to the world that I applied for 1,000 jobs and I didn't get anywhere. So that to me is more of a victim mentality, I would say. Like, why are you applying for 1,000 jobs? Like, can I see your resume? Can you talk about the last job that you applied? What was the company? What they do? If you can't talk about those things, you're just like dumping your resume everywhere and just telling the world that you applied for X number of jobs. Like, all you can say is like I applied for 10 jobs and I know that these are quality applications, and I can get like 2 to 3 response from them, and I'm 100% sure that I can get that.
Yeah, that's a really good point as well. It's like that mirror principle. I don't know if you've heard of that, where
Yeah.
things in life kind of reflect back.
Oh yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and I think when you're applying to 1,000 jobs, it says a lot about you.
Yeah.
Like, what? Why 1,000 jobs? And do you really want any of these jobs? And like, even if you got this job, would you even like it? I mean, like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Like telling to the world that I applied for 1,000 jobs and I'm not getting it anywhere. I feel like it's like you tried like 5 business ideas and you made that same mistake again and again, and now you're just repeating those same mistakes. What if we can like just apply for, let's say, 50 jobs, like 10 jobs in some way, 10 jobs in some way, 10 jobs with some different strategy, 10 jobs in with different strategy, right? And try to understand what worked, like what kind of applications worked and where it worked. When you like start to study all these things, to be honest, like we say like track jobs and everything, right? I wasn't doing that because I naturally knew that what a company that I research for, right? So when you like wholeheartedly do a research, obviously you can talk about that thing with anyone, right? So I think for me, staying as natural as possible is my thing that helps me in anything. Not sure about others, I can't tell. But if you are someone like me, just try to stay natural, try to understand things rather than communicating that you have like X amount of jobs applied, right? Let's just send quality applications and just guarantee yourself jobs.
I love it.
And did I
Alrighty.
tell, I'm sorry, did I tell that I also did volunteering in software engineering school when I got a job in the startup? At that same point, I started volunteering in like a school in Australia called Hobbiton School of Australia, with which now I'm planning to do a hackathon. So I'll be like leading that hackathon. So people who are like non-technical trying to become a technical person. So I'll be leading that hackathon very soon. So that experience also boosted my profile.
Amazing. Wait, is that Data Bytes or different?
No, that's a Hobbiton School of Australia. You will see that in the volunteering section.
Oh, yeah.
So my role there is I mean to every month spend like 1 to 2 hours with the person that they have assigned me, like the student, to mentor that person, share resources and share experiences and everything.
Amazing.
Yeah,
Such a good, this is going to be one of the best podcasts.
I hope it helps.
It's going to be so good.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so excited to show people this one.
How
Okay,
much
I don't,
time we spend? I think more than
long.
1 hour, right?
Yeah, more than an hour.
Yeah.
All right, I won't take up more of your time, but
No,
is there anything that you want to say to anyone still watching, if there's someone watching till this far in?
I would say don't take things too seriously. Like I would say, like once you just realize this simple fact that everyone's gonna die one day, and you can't stress for too long, right? In the moment you don't realize that you are like a really amazing person because no one's telling you, but at least you can tell yourself. So every day when you wake up, just look at yourself in the mirror and say you are the winner, right? Because you are, man. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. People need to hear that more. And it's so true. People get so upset about big things as well. But in the end,
Yeah, I mean, if you zoom out into any situation, you can laugh on that situation because you know that like something that you are genuinely interested in, you are spending your time and effort on it, it's gonna happen eventually, right? So when you look back, you're gonna laugh that why you were stressed. So I think just zoom out into a situation, it's like nothing.
yeah, I love it. Awesome. Thank you so much, Rohit.
Thank you so
Really
much.
appreciate it.
Much for the chat, and I wish everyone, like whoever is seeing this podcast, best of luck in their job hunting journey. And feel free to connect with me, connect with Grad Jobs, and get started, man. Yeah,
Awesome. I love it. All right, I'll finish the recording now.
yeah, cool,
See you guys.
nice.